Everyone who's read a newspaper over the past 20 years knows the name of Mikkis Lianos, the most flamboyant tycoon of his generation, multi-millionaire entrepreneur. He was a compulsive womanizer and husband in succession of 5 rich and beautiful wives, a man who appeared to have the world at his feet until he came a tumble over a pretty chemist's assistant in Fulchester. Linda Davis lived not in central Fulchester, but a dozen or so miles away in the seaport suburb of Shingleborough, where one fine evening Mikkis Lianos put in for repairs to his world-famous yacht, the Liana. What transpired on the quay of Shingleborough and later in the 5-star Mid-Atlantic Hotel in Fulchester are now the subject of our proceedings in the Fulchester Crown Court. Mikkis Lianos, husband and lover of some of the world's most beautiful and eligible women, is now in the dock accused of raping chemist assistant Linda Davis. Miss Helen Tate has finished her opening speech for the Crown and is now examining her first witness, Linda Davis.
His Lordship and the jury how you first came to meet the accused, Mikkis Lianos.
Well, me and me mate Sandy Georgie...
now, by mates, you mean male or female mates?
Well, female, of course. Sandy, Georgie and Evelyn, me girlfriends. Well, we was walking down the quay looking at the yachts coming in for repairs.
So you and your friends, Sandy, Georgie and Evelyn, were walking down the quay looking at the ships?
The big ship sails down the Ollie,
Miss Davis, this will not do. Now, you must remember that you are in a court of law and not at the Palace of Varieties.
Yes, my lord. I'm very sorry, my lord. Well, only me and me mates, we always live it out that one day we'll bump into Aristotle Onassis.
Well, leaving aside for one moment your hopes and aspirations, Miss Davis, on this particular occasion, into whom did you bump?
Well, we was walking along, minding our own business, when up comes this funny little geezer. And he says, "Good evening, beautiful ladies."
That sounds like a terrible crime.
The initial approach may have been courtesy itself, my lord, but I would be happy if the witness would be allowed to continue her account of the conversation.
Perhaps you would do better, Miss Tate, to identify for members of the jury the gentleman about whom we are talking.
To be sure, my lord. Miss Davis, do you see the man who spoke to you on the quay that night in the court today?
Yeah, that miniature little geezer all tarted up over there.
Miss Davis, I do not wish to cross swords with you or with anybody else in this court, but I must insist that you observe a modicum of courtesy in your answers.
Well, I'm sorry, me lord, but he done me wrong, didn't he?
That is a matter that the jury will decide in due course. Let it be indicated in the shorthand note that the witness identified the accused. Very well, Miss Tate, please continue.
My lord, having greeted you in this fashion, Miss Davis, what next did the accused say to you?
Well, he says, "Would you come to a party? I have very much champagne and the biggest private yacht in the world."
And what was your answer to this?
Well, I says to him, "And your name's Donny Osmond."
And what was the accused's answer to this little shaft of wit?
Oh, he didn't seem to get what I was on about. I mean, me mates was laughing, giggling like, you know. Oh, then he says, "Beautiful young lady, my name is Mikkis Lianos. I have the biggest private yacht in the world. You must see me very much in the newspapers."
And what was your answer?
Well, I says to him, "Look here, love, the grocer's got the biggest private yacht in the world and he's in the papers every bleeding day, but it don't seem to pull no birds for him."
And then, Miss Davis?
Well, he seems to get the needle, just mildly, let's say. Then he says, "Beautiful young ladies you are, but you are also stupid. Politicians may come and politicians may go, but I go on forever." Well, Sandy says...
Miss Tate, is it your intention to call this young lady Sandy as a witness?
No, my lord, it is not.
Then, Miss Davis, will you please keep to the facts? Hearsay evidence is not allowed.
Well, Sandy says most like he eats them for breakfast.
Miss Davis.
Mr. Lianos? Mm-hmm. Well, he says, "My dear child, I buy them for ballast for my yacht. You do not believe me? Then look," he says. And there down the quay is his biggest yacht I ever seen, just like something in the old films on the telly. Well, then he says, "You come to a party?" Well, Georgie says...
Miss Tate, is it your intention to call this young lady named Georgie?
No, my lord, it is not. Miss Davis, please remember his lordship's warning.
Well, I says, "Behind them Lambton bins, I reckon we got ourselves a regular old Flynn. Again, I hesitated, mind you, because, I'm not stupid, am I?
Stupid is the last epithet that I would have applied to you, young lady. But your task is not to ask the questions. That job, for the moment, belongs to a perhaps somewhat embarrassed Miss Tate.
Your lordship's interventions are always apposite and encouraging. Well, Miss Davis, having hesitated for a decent moment, what did you finally decide to do?
Well, decides to take a chance, like. So I says to me mates, come on, we go, but just for half an hour. So I says to this Mikkis, understand this, we're come, but for half an hour. But understand this, no messing, positively no messing.
And what was Mr. Lianos' reply to these very proper terms?
Oh, he appeared to be amazed. Mind you, he's not a bad actor. Messing, he says, what is this messing? My wife, she is on board the yacht, and she's quite as young and as beautiful as you, so how can we have messing? Fair enough, we says, we go.
So off you went.
So off we went.
And once aboard the lugger?
What's that?
Ah, my dear lady, the generation gap. The generation gap. I really must hold my tongue, or Mr. Lotterby will have me back in the Court of Appeal. Do please carry on, Miss Tate.
My lord. So we are agreed that you and your 3 friends accompanied Mr. Lianos back to his yacht.
That's right.
Right. Now, when you got there, what did you find?
Well, we goes down into the saloon. Well, there was these 5 or 6 geezers sitting there playing cards and listening to foreign music on the stereo.
And what happened when you entered?
Well, this Mikkis, he speaks to them in a foreign language, and they all stands up looking very pleased. Well, then this Mikkis, he says, champagne. This happy occasion calls for champagne. So one of the geezers goes and opens some bottles of champagne, and another one goes off and fetches some titbits, meatballs and the like, So we're drinking our champagne and eating our titbits. And then I says, here, how about some different music, something a bit more lively like? So they put on some other records.
What type of records?
Oh, some terrible smoochy old-fashioned stuff, Frank Sinatra and the like. So we start to dance. But by this time, I'm getting a little bit fed up being stuck with this Mickey. I mean, Sandy and Georgie and Evelyn, they're fine because they're dancing with the young geezers and they're quite passable.
Now, how did you indicate to Mr. Lianos the fact that you were, as you say, getting fed up?
Well, I says to him, I says, here, can't we go somewhere a bit more lively, like a disco or something? Well, then all of a sudden, this vision of loveliness comes in.
A vision of loveliness?
Yeah, his lady wife. She's out here about 6 months gone, I'd say. Oh, and don't she go off alarming, in her own language, of course, but calling him all sorts, I'd think.
And what did the defendant do?
Oh, well, he belts her one round the ear hole and she runs off crying her bleeding eyes out. Then I says to me mates, I said, look here, I don't want to be no party to no punch-up, so let's go. So I turns round and I walks up the stairs.
And the defendant?
Oh, he runs after me, doesn't he? Do not take any notice of my wife, he says, she is crazy. Yeah, and so are you, says I. If you think I'm going to stand around for that sort of carry-on, you can just take me home.
And did he, in fact, take you home?
Not in your Nelly. But I'm just coming to that. So there on the quayside is parked this flipping great Mercedes with the driver asleep in the front seat.
What, as a matter of curiosity, happened to your 3 young friends?
Well, they stayed on board the yacht.
Aboard the lugger?
Well, they wasn't in the line of fire, was they?
And what happened to you, Miss Davis?
We drove to the Mid-Atlantic Hotel. Well, I deserved something after being insulted, didn't I? After all, I'm not used to it.
And at the Mid-Atlantic Hotel?
Well, the bar was closed, it being after midnight, so this Mikkis, he says, let's have some champagne for a change in my suite. Well, it seems that he was well known there, so he goes up to his suite, and the waiter brings in some champagne and puts on the stereo. So we're drinking the champagne, and after a while we're having a bit of a kiss and a cuddle. Well, I'm nice and mellow by now, aren't I? Well, after a while his hands start to wander, you see, so I says to myself, aye, here we go. But then, all of a sudden, he says, you are a beautiful young lady. I find you two very much attractive. I will give you £50 if you let me do this, and £100 if you let me do that.
Now, by this and that, what exactly did you take him to mean?
Well, by this I mean intercourse, and by that I mean if we had it the other way.
And what was your reaction to the defendant's suggestions?
Well, I jumps up off the city and I shouts, money? You must be out of your flipping mind. I'm not a flipping prostitute.
Now, Miss Davis, I want you to listen to me very carefully because it is very important what you say at this stage.
Yes, my lord. I'm under oath, aren't I?
You are indeed, and I expect you to respect that solemn undertaking. Now, I am referring to my notes here. You just said, I jumps up off the settee, shouts at him, money, you must be out of your flipping mind. I'm not a flipping prostitute.
That's right.
Now, do I understand you to mean by that answer that you would do for pleasure what you would not do for money?
Yeah, I've got me principles, don't I? Every girl's got the right to choose. Besides, turn me right off.
Thank you, Miss Davis. A very fair answer. Continue, Miss Tate.
My lord. Now, after you'd made the remark that you've just elucidated for us all, what did the defendant do?
Well, he turns right stroppy, doesn't he? I mean, he acts like he's crazy. First he shouts, you may not be a prostitute, but I'd treat you like one. Then he fetches me a couple of clumps, pulls off me clothes and has his way with me.
Now, by that, exactly what do you mean?
He had intercourse with me, against my will.
And as a result of that night's episode, in what condition do you now find yourself?
I'm nearly 3 months pregnant.
Would you like a glass of water, Miss Davis?
Yes, please, miss. I think I'd best sit down, no?
Yes, of course. You may be seated. Are you quite comfortable, Miss Davis?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Now, Miss Davis, after the defendant had had intercourse with you, what did he do?
Oh, he rolls over and starts to snore, like a pig.
And you?
Well, I waited till he was well and truly asleep. Then I got up, put on my clothes, and I crept out.
Now, did you see anyone as you crept out of the Mid-Atlantic Hotel?
No, the night port was asleep in the hall at the time. There weren't no one else about.
And where did you go?
Home. I had to walk all the way home. There wasn't any buses.
And did you subsequently make a complaint to your parents?
Yes, miss.
And later on that night, to the police?
Yes, miss. To Inspector McGovern, miss.
Thank you, Miss Davis.
Miss Davis, how old are you?
20, sir.
How tall are you?
5'6", sir.
How much do you weigh?
About 9 stones, more or less.
Well, you certainly look a fine, extremely well-built young woman.
As a matter of fact, I'm feeling a little queer right now.
Well, even the healthiest of young women sometimes feel a little off-colour during the early months of pregnancy. But in the ordinary way, you would agree that you are a normally healthy girl?
Yeah, well, I suffer a bit with me nerves.
Miss Davis, would you please stand up?
We just said I could sit down.
Oh, just for a moment, please.
Miss Davis, you will please stand up.
Will you face the jury? Now, with your lordship's permission, I should like Mr. Lianos to stand up. Mr. Lianos? Thank you, Mr. Lianos, and thank you, Miss Davis, for your cooperation. You may both sit down. Now, Miss Davis, Mr. Lianos is a man of smallish stature. Although he may have a slight advantage in weight, he is also 63 years of age.
Well, how was I to know his age? It's as randy as a rabbit.
Miss Davis, please. I have warned you more than once about being impertinent.
Well, I'm sorry, me lord, but I swore to tell the truth, haven't I? And so he was. And no doubt is.
It would seem, Miss Davis, you are not only attractive and intelligent, but also articulate.
What's that?
You express yourself fluently and with ease. Now, Miss Davis, you will no doubt have grasped the point I'm endeavouring to make here.
Yeah, I seen it coming.
Good. Then I can put it to you quite plainly, Miss Davis. How is it possible that a young, healthy, extremely well-built young woman of 20, 5'6" in height, approximately 9 stone in weight, how is it possible that such a perfect specimen of healthy young womanhood can be raped by a small, slight man of 63, a man past the peak of his physical prowess?
What you are trying to say, Mr. Lotterby, if I'm not mistaken, is that Miss Davis appears to be the stronger of the two.
Thank you, my lord. I could not have put it better myself. Yes, Miss Davis, his lordship is quite right to intervene, and in a language which you can understand. Mr. Lianos did not rape you. You came willingly, and moreover, you made all the running.
That's a lie. He may be little, but he's as strong as a lion.
Well, the jury have seen you both, and in due course it will be for them to decide what actually happened.
Yeah, well, we'll just see.
Miss Davis, you are a young woman of the world, are you not?
Well, I still live at home.
You left school at 16, and you've been earning your living ever since.
Yeah, and I pay me mum for me keep.
You are an extremely attractive young woman, as we can all see, so no doubt you've had plenty of boyfriends.
Yeah, I've had a few.
And from time to time you've had sexual intercourse with them, have you?
What's that got to do with it?
On the night you met Mr. Lianos, Miss Davis, you were not a virgin, were you?
A virgin? At 20? Mr. Lotterby, you must be joking.
Davis, you told us a moment ago that at the time you met Mr. Lianos, you were not, in fact, a virgin.
No, stands to reason, doesn't it? I weren't no virgin, but I weren't pregnant neither.
For how long have you been having sexual intercourse with your various boyfriends?
Oh, not for a few years.
How many years?
Look, my lord, do I have to tell him? It don't seem right to me.
Yes, I'm sorry, Miss Davis. Miss Davis, you have to answer counsel's questions unless I rule otherwise. You have made a very serious allegation against Mr. Lianos, and it is essential that the jury should be able to decide whether or not to believe what you are saying. Very well, Mr. Lotterby.
For how many years have you been having sexual intercourse with your various boyfriends?
Since I was about 11 or 12.
And how many boyfriends?
Oh, I don't remember, do I? I mean, some of them was a long time ago.
6, perhaps? 8, 12?
Oh, more than that.
18, 20 boyfriends?
Oh, I don't remember. 25 or 30, more like.
25 or 30 boyfriends? Well, that's quite an impressive total. So, Miss Davis, on your own admission, you've allowed yourself plenty of opportunity to get pregnant in the past.
Oh, look, sir, I'm not stupid, you know. I mean, in the ordinary way, I take the pill.
Ah, well, for how long have you been taking the pill?
Well, first time I had an abortion. Wasn't very nice, I can tell you. This time I'm going to keep the baby.
An abortion? How old were you when you had this abortion?
15, I think. Something like that. I weren't the only one in my class neither. You stand on me.
Here, in a nutshell, we may perceive the tragedy of our time.
Miss Davis, you have told us that in the ordinary way you take the pill. How is it that at this time you were not in fact taking it?
Well, puts on weight, doesn't it? It so happens I wasn't going out with Steady with no one at the time, so I thought I'd come off of it.
Come off of it. By that are we to understand that you were no longer taking the pill?
No, it stands to reason, doesn't it? I mean, none of us like swallowing pills for nothing, do we?
No, indeed.
It's just dead unlucky that I bumped into this Mikkis, that's all.
Dead unlucky or dead crafty, Miss Davis. That, in essence, is the issue the jury will have to decide.
My lord, you telling me he can't talk to me like that? He ought to put his questions proper.
Yes, Miss Davis has a point there, you know, Mr. Lotterby, and I would prefer it if the use of the vernacular were confined to the witnesses in my court.
I beg your lordship's pardon. I will endeavour to rephrase my question in more formal terms. Miss Davis, I must put it to you that your story about being unlucky is false, and that you have fabricated this and other parts of your evidence in order to compromise Mr. Lianos.
Well, that's a load of old codswallop to start with. I sworn to tell the truth, and that's what I done.
Miss Davis, your parents are respectable people, are they not?
Yeah, they're respectable.
They can't be particularly happy about your way of life, can they?
What way of life? I only do what everyone else does, don't I?
Our old friend, the generation gap, Mr. Lotterby.
Indeed, my lord. Miss Davis, despite the pattern of life as lived by yourself and your young friends, I can't believe your parents were happy about your enjoying a long series of casual relationships.
Well, they never asked no questions. All they ever said was, don't get caught.
Don't get caught. Yes, well, here I think we might have the clue to the whole matter, because somewhere along the line you did get caught, and now you seek to put the blame on Mr. Lianos.
Oh, you do keep on, don't you? I mean, how many times do I have to say that I didn't never get caught? This time I was forced against my will, and he forced me.
Miss Davis, you must have been apparent to you from the first moment you met Mr. Lianos that he was a man of considerable substance. Very, very rich.
Yeah, stinking rich, and flash with it.
He's also a well-known figure in international society.
Personally, I'd never heard of him.
Oh, come now, Miss Davis, you must read the newspapers.
Never. Can't be bothered.
Or watch television.
No, haven't got the time.
Amazing. Well, be that as it may, you have already agreed that having seen something of Mr. Lianos' lifestyle, you recognise that he was a man of considerable wealth.
Yeah, like I said.
And as such an obvious target for blackmail.
Oh, now come off that one. That's a very dirty word.
Yes, it is a dirty word. You're quite right, Miss Davis, but unfortunately it is a word which from time to time we are compelled to use in this court. I'd like you to look at this document, if you would. Did you write that letter, Miss Davis?
Yeah, it's mine.
The letter is addressed, is it not, to Mr. Mikkis Lianos, care of the yacht Liana, Monaco.
That's right.
Now, Miss Davis, how did you know the address to which to direct this letter?
Well, I saw a picture of the bold Mickey on his yacht in the newspaper, that's how.
But a moment ago you told us you didn't read the newspapers.
Well, that was before this horrible thing happened. Now I clock him wherever he goes.
You clock him? What do you mean you follow his movements wherever he goes?
Yeah, like I said. And I won't bleed my gut off his back till he done right by me and my baby.
Now, Miss Davis, I'd like you to turn to the jury and read aloud the contents of that letter, if you would.
Dear Mickey, next time you put into Shingleborough for a quick one, I think you should look me up. I need help. I need help now, and I should hate to have to say anything against you when your case comes up next month. Yours till death us do part, Linda Davis.
My lord, may the letter be made an exhibit in this case?
Yes, Mr. Lodderby.
And the jury see it?
Of course.
There is, of course, a copy of the exhibit for your lordship and for my learned friend, and 12 for the use of the jury. Now, Miss Davis, what do you want to tell us about this letter? Because if this is not an attempt at blackmail, then I'm the ace of spades.
Oh, come off. I mean, where's the blackmail in that?
The crime of blackmail, Miss Davis, consists of demanding money with menaces.
But I ain't menaced no one. Look, all I said was I'd hate to have to say anything against him. And that means to tell the truth.
Or to fabricate false and perjured evidence against Mr. Lianos unless he made you a financial settlement.
And what's so wrong with that, may I ask? I was trying to get help for me and my baby. I'm pregnant, aren't I?
But not once in that letter do you mention your pregnancy.
Yeah, well, I was saving that up for later. For Christmas, perhaps. Or his birthday. His 64th.
Thank you, Miss Davis.
Miss Davis, let us once and for all clear up this silly business with the letter. Dear Mickis, next time you put into Shingleborough for a quick one. Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, next time you pull in for a quick...
Seduction, is that what you're trying to say?
Seduction, nothing. Quick spot of rape, I'd call it.
Dear Mickis, next time you put into Shingleborough for a quick spot of rape, I think you should look me up.
Well, I think you should come and see me.
Right. I need help.
And so I do. What's so wrong with saying that?
What indeed is wrong with that?
After all, I'm pregnant, aren't I?
Miss Davis, we all understand your tragic predicament. I need help now, and I should hate to have to say anything against you when your case comes up next month. Now, what did you mean by that?
Well, I need help. That goes without saying, doesn't it? I need help, and I should hate to have to say anything to hurt you.
Now, you do need help. But if that help is not forthcoming, what then?
Then I'd have to tell the truth. And nothing but the truth.
Still blackmail.
Do you anywhere in this letter express the intention to concoct perjured evidence? To tell a pack of lies?
No, miss.
Yours till death do us part, Linda Davis. Now, are we to take this as a threat? Did you intend to harm Mr. Lianos?
No, miss.
In any way?
Look, miss, I'm not a flipping psychopath. Look, all I meant to say was I'm really his wife, or they ain't got no wedding ring. After all, he is the father of my child.
Unless your lordship has any further questions.
No mistake.
Thank you, Miss Davis. That's all. You may stand down. Please remain in the court. My lord, as we're now approaching the adjournment, it occurs to me that this might be a suitable moment for the deposition of the police photographer to be read. It should only take 2 or 3 minutes.
I, Stephen John Bailey, a police photographer at present attached to the Fulchester Forensic Science Laboratory as a photographer, make oath and say, on the 14th of July this year at approximately 5:30 in the morning, I proceeded to the Fulchester Central Police Station as the result of a request made by Detective Inspector McGovern. There I was shown a young woman whom I now identify as the witness Linda Davis. As a result of a request of the Detective Inspector McGovern, I photographed first certain marks on the neck of the witness and subsequently certain marks on the lower part of her body. From the untouched negatives of those photographs, I now produce positives, which I identify and are marked Exhibits A and B. Signed, Stephen John Bailey.
My lord, there are copies of the exhibits for yourself.
Thank you, Miss Tate.
And for my learned friend.
Yes, I have seen it.
And, of course, for the members of the jury.
No, says I'm making it up. Whoever saw love bites like those?
The case of the Queen against Lianos will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. Yesterday, in the Crown Court, the jury heard how Mikkis Lianos, multimillionaire, shipowner, husband and lover of some of the world's most beautiful and eligible women, has been accused of raping chemist assistant Linda Davis. In her evidence, Linda described how, after a party on board the yacht Liana, the accused man took her back to the Mid-Atlantic Hotel in Fulchester and there had intercourse with her against her will. As the trial enters its second day, Linda's mother, Mrs. Doris Davis, is in the witness box, being examined by counsel for the Crown, Miss Helen Tate.
4 o'clock it was when she came in. In a terrible state she was, crying her eyes out.
Did Linda tell you why she was crying?
She didn't all. She said that...
Mrs. Davis.
Mrs. Davis, I'm afraid we can't have all the conversation because that's not admissible. But did Linda make a complaint to you at any time?
Yeah, she complained about that Greek fellow who'd been bothering her.
Now, members of the jury, this may seem a little strange to you. As a general rule of law, we do not admit hearsay evidence, what the soldier said, to put it in the vernacular. But in cases of rape and indecent assault, we do allow evidence of a complaint made by the victim immediately after the event, on the basis that the complainant has or has not been consistent in her story. So we may hear what Linda said to her mother.
I'm most grateful to my lord. So, Mrs. Davis, will you tell us what did Linda say to you?
Do you want the exact words?
Well, we're all men and women of the world, Mrs. Davis. Yes, tell us exactly what she said.
She said that Mickey had the pants off me and forced me against my will.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Did you and your husband then subsequently take Linda to the police station?
We did.
And did she then repeat her complaint to Detective Inspector McGovern?
She did.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Please stay there.
Mrs. Davis, you have told us it was 4 o'clock in the morning when your daughter came home.
That's right.
How did you know it was 4 o'clock?
Well, we was waiting up for her, wasn't we? It stands to reason.
Why does it stand to reason, Mrs. Davis? Were you worried about your daughter?
Well, of course we were worried, sir. Wouldn't you be?
Oh, my worries don't come into it, Mrs. Davis. Why were you worried?
Well, my Linda's a very pretty girl, sir, although I say it myself. Pretty enough to be bothered by some right scallywags.
Your daughter's pulchritude is the source
Eh?
of... Your daughter's all too obvious charms are the source of some anxiety to you, are they, Mrs. Davis?
Well, you can put it this way, sir. When my Linda leaves this court, they'll be round her like bees round her honeypot, including some who should know better.
So, when your daughter stays out until the wee small hours, you're worried enough to stay up and wait for her.
Wee small hours, sir. Little madam's such a flipping film star, I worry every time she goes to get herself a bleeding Coca-Cola from the corner.
Mrs. Davis.
I suffer with me nerves, you understand, sir. I'm under the doctor.
Well, Mrs. Davis, you have our deepest sympathy. I'm sure that most of us will understand your most natural fears when you find your lovely daughter stopping out until the early hours of the morning.
Well, 12 o'clock's one thing, 4 o'clock's another.
It is indeed. We all have to learn to draw the line somewhere, don't we?
Yes, that's right.
And you drew the line at your daughter stopping out until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I don't know who she's been with or what she's got up to.
Oh, these are matters which are important to you, are they, Mrs. Davis, who she's been with and what she's got up to?
Well, I'm her mother, aren't I?
Oh, you are indeed, and I'm certain that the jury will regard your concern for your daughter as perfectly natural and entirely proper. Now, Mrs. Davis, would you be concerned and worried if you knew that your daughter was having a series of casual affairs?
Well, of course I would, sir. With her look, she could have got to Hollywood if she'd been a bit more choosy. Besides, she might catch a disease.
She might indeed. Or she might become pregnant.
Oh, no, not my Linda. She's got more sense.
Well, the truth of the matter is that she has become pregnant, hasn't she?
Yes, but it weren't her fault. That little so-and-so forced her.
Well, that's a matter for the jury to decide. As far as you are concerned, Mrs. Davis, you would be extremely distressed to find that your daughter was pregnant outside wedlock from whatever source that pregnancy came.
Well, that's right, but that night none of us knew she was pregnant. Well, how could we at that stage?
Mrs. Davis, you will agree that a woman can know that she is pregnant long before there are any external signs of pregnancy.
Oh, I don't know about that, sir. When I was carrying my Johnny, it was 5 months before I twigged. I put it down to the milk stout.
Yes, well, I know you'll forgive me for pointing out, Mrs. Davis, you are of a different generation from Linda, are you not?
Well, it stands to reason.
You belong to a generation which tends to take relationships between the sexes rather more seriously than does the younger generation.
Yes, more's the pity.
And would you agree that in many ways your generation is somewhat naive in sexual matters?
Forgive me, Mr. Lotterby, if I appear somewhat obtuse, but I'm having difficulty following your line of questioning. What are you trying to elicit?
Your Lordship must bear with me if my approach appears to be somewhat oblique. I will put the matter to the witness quite bluntly. Mrs. Davis, knowing your daughter as you do you not agree that if there had been the slightest possibility of her being pregnant, the first thing Linda would have done would have been to arrange a pregnancy test?
Yes, it's exactly what she done, soon as she missed.
Oh, yes, I accept that Linda had a pregnancy test after the events which we've been discussing. In fact, you and your husband probably suggested it.
Oh, yeah, we insisted.
You insisted. Nevertheless, do you not agree that she may have had an earlier pregnancy test?
What do you mean?
I mean that at the time she met Mr. Lianos, she was already pregnant and knew herself to be pregnant.
Oh, no, Mr. Lotterby, I'm not having none of that. When that result came back from the chemist, it was a funny one. They said they couldn't be sure and told us to go back in a week. So when you get a funny result like that, it's early days. It stands to reason.
Oh, Mrs. Davis, you are not a doctor, are you?
No, I'm not.
Then you are hardly qualified to pass an opinion on medical matters.
No, I mayn't be no doctor, but I'm not stupid neither. When you get a dodgy result like that, it's early days.
My lord, I shall be calling medical evidence. Perhaps my learned friend would care to address his questions to the doctor.
Thank you, Miss Tate. Undoubtedly it would be of greater assistance to the jury if these matters were dealt with at the proper time.
As your lordship pleases.
Yeah, Mr. Lotterby, the judge is right, you know. You ask the doctor, he'll tell you the same as I've done. So we're expecting little Nick the Greek on April the 24th.
Mrs. Davis, I'm surprised you find the imminent birth of an illegitimate child a proper subject for levity.
Your grandchild, Mrs. Davis.
I'm sorry, your lordship. No disrespect intended, but it's just that I'm so choked, if I didn't laugh, I'd cry.
Mrs. Davis, I want you to understand this. I'm not suggesting that you or your husband were parties to a conspiracy to injure, or in common parlance, to frame my client.
Thank you very much.
What I am suggesting, however, is that for reasons of her own, whether to account for an existing pregnancy or in some crude attempt at blackmail, your daughter has deceived you.
She wouldn't do a thing like that.
Linda has deceived you, Mrs. Davis, just as she is now seeking to deceive the jury. And I suggest to you that your daughter's evidence is a pack of lies.
Don't you go say nothing like that about my Linda. She's been a good daughter to me, the best. And she ain't never told no lies in her life.
Unless your lordship has any further questions.
No, Miss Tate.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. That's all. You may stand down. I wonder whether your lordship would be so good as to allow me to call the doctor at this stage. I do appreciate that it is not in strict chronological order according to the witness list which your lordship has before you.
Oh, that never worries me, Miss Tate.
Well, the doctor is due to give evidence in court number 2 this afternoon in a case of death by dangerous driving, and I would like to complete his evidence before the adjournment.
Certainly, Miss Tate. Let the doctor be called straight away.
I'm obliged, my lord. Call Dr. Abdul Hussain.
Dr. Abdul Hussain, please.
Is your full name Abdul Hussain?
Yes, it is.
And you're a qualified doctor and a registered medical practitioner, at present employed at the Fulchester General Hospital.
Yes, I am.
Now, at 5 o'clock on the morning of the 14th of July this year, did you go to Fulchester Central Police Station?
Yes, I did.
Who asked you to attend?
Detective Inspector McGovern, ma'am.
Now, there, did you examine a young girl called Linda Davis?
Yes, I did.
Do you see Miss Davis in court today?
Yes, I do, over there.
Now, what did you find when you examined Miss Davis?
May I refer to my report, my lord? It was made right after I examined the patient.
Certainly.
I found Miss Davis a well-nourished young woman of good natural physique and appearance. Upon examination, I found in all 5 bruises on the front and sides of her throat, consistent with an attempt at manual strangulation. I found 3 long lacerations running from the right collarbone across the breast down to the ribcage, consistent with scratches made by human fingernails. I found 2 perfect circular indented wounds, consistent with human bite marks on the right.
More like flipping Dracula, I'd call it.
On the right-hand side of the base of the neck, I found extensive bruising on both buttocks and thighs, consistent with a sexual assault of some nature. I found traces of spermatozoa in the vagina and on the inside of both thighs, consistent with recent sexual intercourse.
Was the girl Virgo intacta?
No, she was not.
Could you tell when defloration had taken place?
No, it was not possible. After I examined the patient, I formed the conclusion that she had been no stranger to sexual activity in the past.
Thank you, Dr. Hussain. Please stay there.
Dr. Hussain, you've told his lordship and the jury of the exhaustive examination which you carried out upon Miss Davis.
I wouldn't say exhaustive, sir. I would say routine.
Doctor, did you perform a pregnancy test upon Miss Davis?
A pregnancy test? Of course not.
Oh, that's a pity, because it might have cleared up this whole business.
There would have been no point in performing such a test.
You mean until the hormone balance of the body had adjusted itself to pregnancy?
Exactly, sir. That takes some time to happen.
You didn't consider the possibility of there already existing a pregnancy resulting from previous acts of sexual intercourse?
There were no signs of pregnancy, and the idea never crossed my mind. I was only interested in patient's condition that night.
Dr. Hussain, as Mr. Lotterby has raised the matter, we had better pursue it to some sort of conclusion. If the laboratory result of a pregnancy test were doubtful, what significance as a doctor would you attach to that?
I take it that your lordship means that the result is what we call weakly positive.
Something of the sort.
It can mean that the test has been made too early.
Can it mean anything else?
Yes, my lord, it can. It can mean that the pregnancy is not well established, even if it is of several weeks' duration.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, my lord, that the fetus is at risk and is likely to become the victim of spontaneous abortions. For example, in the case of ectopic pregnancy, a pregnancy in the fallopian tube. Now, such a pregnancy cannot survive for more than 3 months under any circumstances and can indeed result in the death of the expectant mother.
Dr. Hussain, now let us come down to earth for a moment.
That is where we are, sir.
A few moments ago, you spoke of an ectopic pregnancy, a pregnancy in the fallopian tube, which might have unfortunate, even fatal results.
Yes, sir.
Now, in your own experience as a doctor of medicine and a member of the staff of an emergency and accident ward, how often have you come across a case of this sort?
Personally, sir, I have never treated such a case, but I read my books. I must keep my eyes open.
You are not a gynecologist?
No, I'm not. I'm a humble general medical practitioner. But I'm not stupid.
Oh, no, you're certainly not that, Doctor. So what you are saying boils down to this, does it not? That at the time of her pregnancy test, Linda Davis may have in fact been several weeks, even 2 or 3 months pregnant, but with a pregnancy which was likely to terminate itself by spontaneous abortion, or in plain English, by miscarriage.
Really, my lord, I must object. Now, how can Dr. Hussain be asked to give opinion on a test which he did not conduct himself and which was carried out some time after he'd seen the patient?
Very well, my lord. If my friend is upset at this line of inquiry, I'll leave it at that. But the jury has heard Dr. Hussain's evidence, and I'm sure they will find it extremely useful.
That was a bit naughty, Mr. Lotterby, as you very well know.
I can only crave your lordship's forgiveness and adopt another line of cross-examination. Doctor, I'd like you to look at the photograph Exhibit A, if you would.
Yes, sir, this is the patient I examined.
Yes, and these marks on her neck are no doubt the bruises you described in your report.
Yes, sir, but I would have thought that this photograph was taken sometimes after I examined the patient. The bruises are much more pronounced.
Oh, yes, Doctor, we'll concede that. We all know that bruises start red and then...
My
turn
lord,
blue.
I really cannot understand why my learned friend insists upon giving the evidence himself when he has a perfectly competent medical witness to do it for him.
Mr. Lotterby, I'm sure the jury are duly impressed by your medical knowledge, but we are provided with Dr. Hussain's expertise.
Indeed, my lord. Now, Dr. Hussain, you've described these bruises as consistent with an attempted manual strangulation.
Yes, sir.
We do not agree that they are equally consistent with many other things, love bites, for example.
It is possible, but I don't think probable. There are 5 bruises, and as we all know, we have got 5 fingers on each hand.
Yes. Have you examined other victims of strangulation or attempted strangulation?
I'm not a pathologist, but I have seen 3 or 4.
And would you not agree, then, that it is more likely for a strangler to use 2 hands rather than 1?
Well, in the case of total strangulation, I would agree, but this was what I would call half-hearted attempt. I concluded that the assailant has used 1 hand to stop the girl crying out, while the other hand was busy elsewhere.
Yes. Doctor, would you please look at the photograph again?
With pleasure, sir.
Doctor, you will observe 3 long, horrible scratch marks.
I observed 3 scratch marks, sir.
Doctor, you will observe 2 horrible bite marks.
I observed 2 bite marks, sir.
Now, Dr. Hussain, would you be so good as to tell my lord and the jury what you deduce from these interesting marks?
I deduce nothing, sir, except that one woman's pain is another woman's pleasure.
Thank you, Dr. Hussain. A very fair, a very profound answer, if I may say so. Now, I'd like you to look at the other photograph, Exhibit B.
Yes, sir?
Now, this photograph shows the bruises on the lower part of Miss Davis's body, does it not?
Yes, sir.
Now, these could by no means be described as serious injuries, could they?
No, sir, I would say they are quite superficial.
Yes, would you agree that they are no more consistent with an attack than with perhaps rather over-enthusiastic lovemaking?
Yes, I do. If the girl had not been crying or so upset when I examined her, I wouldn't have placed any significance to these injuries.
So it was her general demeanor which caused you to conclude that she'd been attacked?
Yes, sir.
Not the injuries at all?
No, sir, I was a little puzzled when I examined the patient about the bruises on the neck, but as far as the other injuries are concerned, that's fair enough.
Dr. Hussain, I must thank you for the extremely fair way in which you've given your evidence. Thank you, Doctor.
Dr. Hussain, I do hate to be boring, but would you be so good as to look at the exhibits once again?
Certainly.
Let us first look at Exhibit A. Now, I don't want to make heavy weather out of this, but do you get the impression that this young lady is about to get a black eye?
Some 2-3 hours after the photograph was taken, I would agree.
Is the giving and receiving of a black eye consistent with lovemaking?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Well, let us look at the exhibit once more. Do you not observe that this girl has a split lip, Dr. Hussain?
Yes, I do.
Is that consistent with lovemaking?
Well, I would keep an open mind about that.
But would you not agree that it is more consistent as an act of violence than as an act of making love?
Your Lordship must forgive me, but I really cannot allow my friend to cross-examine her own witness.
Yes, Miss Tate, Mr. Lotterby is quite justified in objecting to that last question. Dr. Hussain is your witness. You must be content with his answers.
Your Lordship must forgive me. I will pursue the matter no further. Unless your Lordship has any further questions.
No, Miss Tate.
May the doctor be released.
Thank you, Dr. Hussain.
Thank you, my lord.
I call Arthur Albert Davis, my lord.
Arthur Albert Davis, please.
Are you Arthur Albert Davis, and you live at 9 Hugh Gateskill Court, Shingleborough?
Ma'am.
And are you the father of Miss Linda Davis, whose evidence we heard in court yesterday?
Ma'am.
Mr. Davis, can you cast your mind back to the evening of July the 14th last?
Ma'am.
Did anything unusual happen that evening?
Yes, ma'am. My daughter came home at 0400 hours, ma'am.
What kind of condition was she in, Mr. Davis?
She was fully clothed, ma'am.
Yes, but was anything unusual about her manner? I mean, was she distressed in any way?
Oh, yes, she was distressed all right after I'd finished with her.
Well, did she make a complaint within your hearing?
Yes, she complained to her mother. Nearly shouted the place down.
What was she complaining about?
Well, ma'am, as a matter of fact, she was complaining about me. You will understand, ma'am, that as a military man, I believe in discipline. She came in at 4 Ac Emma, so I gave her a damn good hiding.
Mr. Davis, did your daughter make any other complaint?
I can't say, ma'am. I was so busy sorting her out that I didn't care to listen.
Mr. Davis, I want you to apply your mind to what I am asking you.
Ma'am.
Now, Mrs. Davis has told the court that you both took your daughter to the police station later that night. Now, why did you do that?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Now I understand your drift. My wife and I took her to Fulchester Police Station on account of her violation by a brutal Greek, ma'am.
Now, how did you know that she had been violated, as you put it, by a brutal Greek, Mr. Davis?
She told us, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Please remain there.
Now, Mr. Davis, you've told us that as a military man you believe in discipline.
Sir.
Would I be right in thinking you are, in fact, an old soldier?
I served for 20 years, sir.
Where did you serve, Mr. Davis?
Malaya, Korea, Aden, and Western Germany, sir. The last 7 years, I was staff sergeant at Woolwich Barracks, sir.
Now, Mr. Davis, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have gained the impression that you are the kind of man who has strong views on the upbringing of the young.
Sir, I may be old-fashioned, but I happen to be proud of it.
And by old-fashioned, Mr. Davis, I take it that you believe in a modicum of discipline for the young.
Yes, sir.
Even at times in corporal punishment?
Yes, sir. Within reason, sir. By that I mean nothing brutal. But I don't stand no nonsense, and I won't take no lip.
And you would regard staying out until 4 o'clock in the morning as a good reason for chastising your daughter?
Yes, sir. I regard it as an outrage.
Now, you have told us that you gave her, in your own words, a damn good hiding. Now, what exactly does that entail?
First, I struck her across the face with the back of my hand.
Mr. Davis, I notice you're wearing a ring.
Sir?
Were you wearing it at the time?
Always wear it, sir. Bought it in Singapore.
So it's possible that you might have accidentally split her lip with it.
Quite possible, sir.
Did you also give her a black eye?
Oh, no, sir. I regard that as too extreme.
So having struck her, as you have said, across the face, what did you proceed to do then?
I put her across my knee and took my belt to her.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Just one moment, Mr. Davies.
My lord.
Mr. Davies, on the evening which we've been discussing, had you any reason to believe or to suspect that your daughter might already be pregnant?
Oh, no, my lord. I regard her as totally chaste, my lord. As pure as my own mother. And may she rest in peace.
Unless your lordship has any further questions.
No, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. You may stand down, but please remain in the court. I call Detective Inspector McGovern, my lord.
Detective Inspector McGovern.
Almighty God, the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Ian McGovern, Detective Inspector, Fulchester City Police Force, at present attached to Fulchester Central Police Station.
Detective Inspector McGovern, will you please give us your evidence?
I will. Please, may I refer to my notebook?
When were the notes made?
Immediately after the event I'm about to describe.
Very well, Mr. McGovern, please carry on.
At 4:25 on the morning of the 14th of July this year, as the result of a message, I attended the CID room at Fulchester Central Police Station. I there saw three persons who I can now identify as the witness, Linda Davis, Mrs. Doris Davis, and Arthur Albert Davis. There were also present in the room Station Sergeant Mitchell and WPC Kane. The two female witnesses were in a weeping and distressed condition. After 4 or 5 minutes, the witness, Linda Davis, made a complaint to me, as a result of which I sent for Dr. Hussain and shortly afterwards for the police photographer.
Inspector, will you describe in more detail the condition, both emotional and physical, that you found Linda Davis in?
Well, at first it was difficult to sort out exactly what was going on. I thought I'd taken a day trip to the Wailing Wall. Both women were quite hysterical, sir. But after they'd been proffered cups of tea by WPC Kane, they calmed down a bit.
Inspector, let us be more precise. What was Linda Davis's emotional condition?
Oh, very bad. She was weeping, sobbing. She was distressed, hysterical.
Did you get the impression that she was play-acting in any way?
Oh, no. I've had occasion to observe a large number of hysterical women during my service with the CID, and I think I can distinguish those who are genuine from those who are putting it on.
And what was her physical condition?
I came to the conclusion she'd been beaten up.
Thank you, Inspector. Now, you've told us that Linda Davis made a complaint to you.
She did.
Did you make any further inquiries regarding the truth or otherwise of this particular complaint?
Yes, I did. At 6 a.m. on the morning of the 14th of July this year, in company with other officers, I drove to the shipyard of Hill and Burton at Shingleborough, where I believed the yacht Liana to be berthed. The Liana had attracted a great deal of publicity in the neighborhood on account of being so large. The yacht was not in her berth or anywhere to be found in the vicinity. Well, I don't know how it was done. It was as though it had vanished into thin air.
The case of the Queen against Lianos will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. The trial of millionaire shipowner Mikkis Lianos now enters its third and final day. On Wednesday, the jury heard how, after a champagne party on board the yacht Liana, Mr. Lianos took chemist assistant Linda Davis back to the Mid-Atlantic Hotel in Fulchester, where he is alleged to have had sexual intercourse with her against her will. Yesterday, the jury heard medical evidence which would as well support the case for the defence as that for the prosecution. Today, we are for the first time to hear what Mikkis Lianos has to say about the events of that torrid night in Fulchester.
If you would tell his lordship and the jury how you came to meet Miss Linda Davis.
It's a story simple in the extreme, my friend. I make one little tour of Scotland, the Western Isles, you understand, in my yacht, Liana. You've heard of her, I dare say.
Yes, Mr. Lianos, we have heard of her.
As we say in Greek. Well, en route for Monte Carlo, the caterpillar starts to overheat.
The caterpillar?
The ship's engine, my friend.
Mr. Lianos, in this court it is customary to address his lordship in the formal manner.
Oh, you must forgive me, my friend. In my circle, we use a free and easy manner. No, as I was saying, en route for Monte Carlo, the caterpillar starts to overheat, so we put into Shingleborough for repairs. Panagiamu, your British workmanship. My next yacht I will have built in Japan.
Yes, well, be that as it may, Mr. Lianos, having put into Shingleborough for repair, what happened next?
It is Sunday afternoon, my friend. Ha! The mechanics will not work. Oh, Panagiamu, your unions, they are unbelievable.
Mr. Lianos, I want you to appreciate the gravity of your position. You are here to answer a very serious charge, not to address the court on the state of the British economy.
If I run my business the way your country run her economy, I shall be in 1 week bankrupt. The newspapers will do one great favor to Mr. Edward Heath if they report what I say in full. Huh?
No doubt, Mr. Lianos, your political remarks will be noted with interest in another quarter. For the moment, what the jury and I want to hear is your evidence.
Certainly, my friend. We have all that.
Now, having failed to get the engineers to start work, what did you do?
Oh, I decide I will take one little walk along the waterfront, so I say to my skipper and 1 or 2 others that they accompany me.
There on the quayside, this is not in dispute, you meet Miss Linda Davis and her 3 young friends.
Exactly.
What impression did you form of Miss Linda Davis?
Oh, she's quite pretty, but to me nothing extraordinary.
But when you spoke to her, as we all agree you did, how did she react?
She acts exactly like other women. When I say come, she comes.
Now, Mr. Lianos, you must forgive me, but you must also understand that it is for your own good, as well as for in the interest of justice, that I pursue this matter in depth.
Oh, you carry on, my friend. You are doing very well. I wish to help you.
You should count yourself honoured, Mr. Lotterby, to receive such a tribute. Brush up on your maritime law, and the Fulchester Crown Court will lose you.
My lord, as this trial proceeds, I'm coming to believe that there is more than one fate worse than death.
A judgment with which I, for one, would readily concur. Pray continue.
Now, Mr. Lianos, we are all in agreement, are we, up to this point in the narrative? You and certain members of your crew met 4 pretty girls on the quayside at Shingleborough.
Exactly.
You ask them back to your yacht for a drink.
Exactly.
You tell them, I'm sure my friend won't object, this is not in dispute, you tell them that your wife, your young and beautiful wife, is on board the yacht and that they have nothing to fear.
Exactly.
So you all go on board the yacht and enjoy a happy interlude, lightened by 1 or more bottles of champagne.
Just so.
A happy and innocent occasion.
Innocent, yes. Happy, oh no. My wife, you understand, she's pregnant, so this make her a little bit crazy. She come and she create one unbelievable fassaria.
A fassaria?
Yeah, she goes off alarming, don't she?
I take it your wife made some sort of scene.
Panagiamu. In my next life, I come back one homosexual.
Silence.
So, how, Mr. Lianos, did you deal with this embarrassing situation?
In military fashion, I assess the situation and I retreat. I take the dolly boat to my hotel.
And did the dolly bird come willingly?
Oh, she not only come, she can't wait. She bite me in the back of the Mercedes.
She bit you? You mean she resisted you, attacked you?
Oh, no, Mr. Lotterby. She bite me in passion.
Oh, call me the vampire of Bucharest.
And having arrived at the Mid-Atlantic Hotel, what next transpired?
Oh, I have one sweet, you understand, for this sort of purpose. And there I take the dolly board.
And order some champagne.
Just for a change.
And Miss Davis, how did she react when presented with these lotus-eating opportunities?
Oh, my lord.
Did the girl say yes?
Oh, she not only say yes, she practically raped me. She not only take off my clothes, I must make love to her 16 times before she let me go.
Now, what happened next, Mr. Lianos?
I go to sleep. I'm a very busy man. I am a man of affairs. I have much to occupy my mind.
Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Lianos. We are at cross purposes here. Did Miss Davis indicate to you anything which might mean that she was not satisfied with
satisfied? Is she crazy or something? The most beautiful women in the world are more than satisfied.
Forgive me once more. I'll try again. Did Miss Davis ask you for anything?
Oh, yes, she asked me for money, but then everybody asks me for money when they know who I am.
Yes. And what exactly did she say?
She said, give to me £100.
And what did you reply?
And I said, beautiful young lady, you are not one prostitute. You are very young, you are quite sexy, you will marry. Why spoil it now?
And what did she say to that?
She go practically bonkers. She cries, she screams. But I take no notice. You understand, I like women very much, but I do not like this carry on. So I go to sleep.
Mr. Lianos, you say that she cried and she screamed. Can you remember if she said anything?
Oh, I don't remember. She says something like, I have the law, or I tell the law.
Now, what did you understand by that?
Oh, I don't understand nothing. She's one very stupid dolly board. I go to sleep.
And when you woke up?
She's gone away. I say, thank God for that, and I go back to my ship.
Now, after you went back to your ship, did you see Miss Davis again?
Until this week, not once.
Did Miss Davis communicate with you in any way?
Oh, yes, she wrote me one very silly letter.
Exhibit C, please. Is this the letter you received?
Oh, maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. It's, so many women write me so very many silly letters. I don't know.
Mr. Lianos, this letter is an exhibit in the case. Miss Davis admits writing it. Are you now saying you do not know whether you received it or not?
Oh, it is so very little a thing. For you and me, this is kid stuff. I take no notice. I don't know.
Never mind. I was just wondering if you can't identify it, how it reached the court. That's all.
Mr. Lianos, Miss Davis has told us that she's pregnant. When did you find out about this?
Wednesday morning in this court.
Do you know whether it is your child she's carrying?
Oh, how should I know? I make so many babies with so many women. In 5 continents I make babies. And I make only boys.
But this particular child?
Oh, maybe is. I hope not. She sleep around. She's one very dirty girl.
Mr. Lianos, let us turn to another matter. You've seen the photographs, you've heard the evidence of Dr. Hussein. Have you the slightest idea how Miss Davis came by these injuries?
Oh, how can I? I am a man of passion. Maybe I bite her, maybe I smack her, I don't know. But she like it. She come back for more.
Just one final matter. Detective Inspector McGovern has told us that at 6 o'clock on the morning of the 14th of July, he and other officers visited the shipyard where the Luana had been berthed and found that your yacht had gone. Why did you set sail so suddenly?
But this I've told you, I do not like your reunions. I go to France for my repair.
Thank you, Mr. Lianos.
Mr. Lianos, now you say, and I'm reading from my notes, maybe I bite her, maybe I smack her. She like it, she come back for more. Well, if this is so, why in the world did she make a complaint? First to her parents and then to the police.
It's simple. She's greedy. Oh, she's a woman. So first of all, she think of love. But second and most, she think of money.
Oh, Mr. Lianos, it's very easy to say that, but if you just think about it for a moment, you'll see it doesn't make sense.
Why not?
Well, if you would just listen a moment. Here we have a young and attractive young lady meeting one of the richest men in the world.
Exactly.
Now, everything seems to be perfect for both of them. Everything seems to be set fair for a long and romantic relationship. Now, tell me, Mr. Lianos, why in heaven's name does that girl go running at 5 o'clock in the morning, weeping and distraught, to the police station?
She's very stupid. She do not know what is good for her.
Oh, I doubt very much whether anyone who's seen and heard Miss Davis in court would agree with your opinion that she is stupid.
That we shall see.
We shall indeed. Mr. Lianos, I put it to you that somewhere along the line something went wrong. Something turned what had started out as a pleasant flirtation into a nightmare and sent this usually worldly and well-organized young woman weeping to the police.
If you believe her!
Well, it is not just a question of believing Miss Davis. We have the same account from Mr. and Mrs. Davis, from Dr. Hussein, and from Detective Inspector McGovern. Now, they can't all be making it up, Mr. Lianos.
She is one very good actress.
But, Mr. Lianos, why should she act? Why should she humiliate herself in this fashion? Why, at the first encounter, strangle the goose that is capable of laying so many golden eggs?
She's one very stupid dolly board.
Mr. Lianos, you are a man, are you not, who is used to getting his own way?
Of course.
His own way in everything?
Of course, it's natural.
When was the last time that you were refused something that you really wanted?
I don't know. This doesn't happen to me.
Well, here we have our answer. That on that night in Shingleborough, you met someone who turned you down. At least she did on your own terms. And then she saw you turn, in a moment, from a gay seducer to a violent, beastly, and vicious monster.
That is matter for jury to decide, as you, my friends, all say so very often.
Now, Mr. Lianos, I wish to turn to the medical evidence.
And what good will that do you?
Well, Mr. Lianos, I must concede that the evidence given by Mr. Albert Davis has rather pulled the rug from under my feet. And nevertheless, there are some points that are not consistent with parental chastisement. Now, if you would be so kind as to examine Exhibit A.
But of course. I would prefer to look at Playboy magazine, but this is not so bad.
Let us examine these injuries one by one and decide which to attribute to Linda's father and which to yourself. Now, first, the split lip.
Oh, 50-50. Could be maybe too very much kissing, could be maybe a smack.
Right, that makes 1 to Mr. Davis, because any doubts in a criminal case must be resolved in the defendant's favor. So that is 1 to the father. Now, the black eye.
The father. I do not strike women, except in passion.
But, Mr. Lianos, it is not in dispute that you struck your own pregnant wife at the party on board the Liana.
Oh, I love my wife. She's hysterical. I strike her very gently, so as to make her calm her down.
Mr. Lianos, you love your wife, and Mr. Davis loves his daughter. Now, he describes Linda as totally chaste, as pure as my own mother, and you regard her as one very dirty girl who sleeps around. Now, you tell me, Mr. Lianos. Just who are the jury to believe? Who is capable of giving her a black eye? The father who loves her, or the lover who despises her? 1 all. 1 to the father, 1 to the lover. Now, the bites.
My friend, I take the bites.
1 to Mr. Davis and 2 to your own good self. Now for the scratches.
The father. I am so very careful with my manicure.
Now, Mr. Lianos, the girl was fully clothed when the father chastised her. I'm afraid you must take responsibility for the scratches. So that is 1 to the father and 3 to you.
My friend, when I wish to play games, I go to Monte Carlo.
We are not playing games, Mr. Lianos. We are trying to arrive at the truth of a very important criminal matter. Now for the marks on the neck, which Dr. Hussein considered were consistent with manual strangulation.
Plainly, this is the father. He hold her so with one hand, so he smack her bottom with the other. I have plenty too much other better things to do with my hands.
Well, that point I will award to the father, as there must be some element of doubt there. So if my arithmetic is correct, that makes 2 to the father and 3 to Mr. Lianos. Although, of course, the jury are at liberty to interpret the facts in any way that they choose. Now, Mr. Lianos, let us get one final matter clear. You arrived at Shingleborough on the afternoon of the 13th of July, and you put in at the shipyard of Hill and Burton.
Exactly.
You estimated that repairs to the Liana to the Caterpillar engine of your yacht would take a few days.
Oh, the engine room require one new complete cooling system, new fans and so on. But this is matter for marine mechanics. You are a woman. You will not understand such matters, my friend.
Well, to cover all eventualities, you book a suite at the Mid-Atlantic Hotel.
Exactly. My staff arranged these matters.
Have you any idea what such a suite would cost?
How should I know? Other people arrange these matters for me.
Well, would you be surprised, Mr. Lianos, if I tell you that a suite at the Mid-Atlantic Hotel costs £100 per night?
£100. What is £100?
Well, to you, Mr. Lianos, possibly nothing. And furthermore, deductible from tax.
Tax? I am a man of international affairs. Why should I pay tax?
Let us look at it this way. You book an expensive suite at an expensive hotel on the assumption that you are to stay in the vicinity for a few days. You use that suite for a couple of hours
It's
at the
service
most.
booked.
And then, suite booked, arrangements made for the repair of your yacht, you fade away like the morning dew. Now, by the time the Detective Inspector McGovern arrives at 6 a.m. that morning, you and the Liana have vanished without trace. Let me ask you this. Was that the conduct of an innocent man? Or more the conduct of a man in mortal terror of being arrested by the police?
It's the conduct of one man who do exactly as he please.
Thank you, Mr. Lianos.
Unless your lordship has any questions?
There are times, Mr. Lotterby, when even I am not tempted to descend into the arena.
Thank you, Mr. Lianos. You may resume your seat as before. I call Mrs. Agape Lianos. Mrs. Agape Lianos?
I am.
And you are the wife of Mr. Mikkis Lianos?
I am.
And the mother of a baby son?
My son is now 6 weeks old.
Mrs. Lianos, would you be so gracious as to tell his lordship and the jury in what esteem you hold your husband?
He's the best possible husband. He adores me. He adores our son. He adores his children of his previous marriages.
Now, Mrs. Lianos, I hate to trouble you with this wretched business, but do you know about your husband's involvement with Miss Linda Davis?
But of course I know. My husband told me about it.
Does it distress you?
Why should it distress me? The girl means nothing to my husband. How can it possibly affect my position or that of my child? I have perfect confidence in my husband.
Thank you, Mrs. Lianos. If I may say so, your evidence reveals the most extraordinary wisdom and maturity for one so young and lovely.
Thank you. May I go?
Oh, forgive me, Mrs. Lianos, but my learned friend may have one or two small points to make. If you would stay where you are just for a few minutes.
Of course.
Would you like a chair?
Thank you. I prefer to stand.
Mrs. Lianos, let me assure you that you have the sympathy of everyone in this court.
Sympathy? Why?
Well, your husband's sordid involvements can hardly have brought you any happiness.
Happiness? No. But then who can blame him? He's a man. I was pregnant at the time and probably a little irritable.
But surely you would expect a man to cherish his wife during pregnancy more than at any other time.
In my country, we expect men to be men at any time. We love them, we tolerate their weaknesses, we forgive them their shortcomings. In return, they cherish us in the way that you in the West may find difficult to comprehend.
But, Mrs. Lianos, your husband struck you in public. You surely cannot forgive that.
He was quite right to strike me. I was making a scene. I was hysterical.
Agape. Divine love. Mrs. Lianos, are you a woman or a saint? Do you really tolerate everything?
No, by no means. In fact, I find all this extremely difficult to tolerate. Old men in drag, young fellows in funny uniforms. And for what? To discuss one domestic issue. Such a little thing. To tell you the truth, I find it unbelievably bizarre.
Thank you, Mrs. Lianos.
Unless your lordship has any questions?
I cannot hope to cap that last gem of feminine perception.
Thank you, Mrs. Lianos. That concludes the case for the defense, my lord.
My lord, members of the jury, the crime of rape consists of the forcing of a woman to have sexual intercourse against her will. Now, it does not matter who that woman is. She has the right to say no, and the violation of that right constitutes the crime of rape. Now, on the 14th of July last, Miss Linda Davis says that while she was quite happy to indulge in some love play and drink Mr. Lianos' champagne, she drew the line at sexual intercourse, and here she was within her rights. But Mr. Lianos is a man who is used to getting his own way. Indeed, he has told us how he cannot remember the last time he was refused something he wanted. I put it to you, members of the jury, that he lost his temper, and what he could not get by persuasion, he took by force. Now, if that is not the case, why did this normally secure young lady go running at 5 o'clock in the morning to the police? Members of the jury, under the circumstances, I ask you to return a verdict of guilty of rape.
Thank you, Miss Tate. Well, Mr. Lotterby, what have you got to say to us?
May it please your lordship. Members of the jury, Linda Davis is just 20 years of age, and yet just look at her sexual record. On her own admission, she has had sexual relations with 25 to 30 males. And at the age of 15, she had an abortion. And this girl now expects us to believe that my client, her, 31st lover, did not take her willingly, as did all the others, but had to resort to rape. Can we possibly believe Miss Davis's story? Now, certainly she appeared to be hysterical when she arrived at the police station, but this girl is perfectly capable of an act of self-induced hysterics, just as she seems perfectly capable of a little blackmail. I need help now, and I should hate to have to say anything against you when your case comes up next month. Do you remember Miss Davis saying this? Me and my mates always live in hope that one day we'll bump into Aristotle Onassis. Well, she didn't quite manage that, but she did bump into Mikkis Lianos, surely the next best thing. Members of the jury, Linda Davis has deceived her parents. Do not let her deceive you. I ask you to find Mr. Lianos not guilty.
Now, members of the jury, this is a very simple case, but a very important one, involving, as it does, serious allegations against a well-known person. But it is also a case that demonstrates exactly the necessity of trial by jury. For there is only one issue in this case: who is telling the truth? And that is for you to decide. Now, before I go on, I must say this, though you are at perfect liberty to ignore my personal feelings, but rarely in my years of experience in Her Majesty's courts have I come across two quite such unpleasant people as Miss Linda Davis and Mr. Mikkis Lianos. The impertinence of one matched the arrogance of the other. They both appear to have no moral sense whatsoever. They both appear to dwell in an alien world of selfish debauchery, and we, bourgeoisie, they would no doubt call us, can only look in from the outside and thank God that we are as other men. Well, now, however that may be, I must remind you, members of the jury, that it is for the prosecution to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt. And when you come to interpret those words, reasonable doubt, I want you to apply the standards that you would apply in your own business or in your own private life. Now, members of the jury, will you kindly retire to consider your verdict?
All stand. Do you find the defendant, Mikkis Lianos, guilty or not guilty of the charge of rape?
Not guilty.
Mr. Lianos, you have been found not guilty and you are free to leave the court.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. We have a very fair verdict.
Be upstanding in court.
Next week, you can join another jury in assessing the facts when our cameras return to watch a leading case in the Crown Court.